On April 16, 2003, traffic out of San Antonio, Texas on the I-10 was moving at a steady pace when suddenly, a tan-coloured Mercury Tracer swerved straight into the median. The vehicle became airborne and landed back down onto the highway. It continued roaring down the road for miles before veering off to the right and crashing into trees. Arriving on the scene, authorities found the driver deceased. He was wearing full military fatigues and had appeared to have died from massive head injuries. There are no identifying items in the vehicle. Investigators observed that the man's t-shirt had been ripped from the chest to the navel, and there was a 6-inch vertical gash on the man's chest, seemingly unrelated to the crash. There was more. Both of the man's nipples had been removed. His left pinky finger was severed, and his wrists and ankles had been wrapped with duct tape. The victim would be identified as Philip Shue, a United States Air Force psychiatrist stationed at Wilford Hall Medical Center. The 54-year-old was a decorated veteran that had received many honors and awards. His wife Tracy stated that her husband seemed completely normal when he left for work that morning. However, he never arrived and would be dead 2.5 hours later in horrifying and bizarre circumstances. Around 4 years before his death, Philip Shue began receiving threatening letters from an unknown person. One of the letters read, "A friend of mine who worked with Don, your ex-wife's husband, told me some scary things. I don't know Don, or your ex-wife myself. My friend told me they wish you were dead, so they could collect life insurance. I don't understand why they would have life insurance on you, but that's what my friend told me. My friend thinks they may actually be planning something." These letters certainly worried Shue, who told an insurer that he should thoroughly examine my death for evidence of foul play, even if on the surface the cause would appear natural or accidental. Shue's ex-wife Nancy did in fact have 2 life insurance policies on her ex-husband, valued at around $1 million. She denied any involvement in a plan to kill her husband and believed that the letters were someone's idea of a joke. The medical examiner ruled that Philip Shue's death was a suicide. He found that there were high levels of lidocaine in Shue's system and noted a number of hesitation wounds on Shue's chest surrounding the 6-inch gash. The medical examiner would state that, "We believe he did this to himself, either to stage a kidnapping and mutilation to support all those letters and didn't really intend to die, or he intended to do the same thing and die." Tracy Shue did not believe her husband would take his own life and demanded a thorough investigation in relation to the letters. Tracy's attorney stated that in the day before Philip's death, he picked up his lawnmower at the repair shop, ordered contact lenses, closed a deal on a new house, and emailed a friend to confirm plans for dinner. These actions are not consistent with someone going to commit suicide. The lead investigator in the case, Roger Anderson, theorized that Shue was abducted on his way to work and was taken to an unknown location where he was tortured. This would explain the duct tape around his ankles and wrists, and the unexplained gash on his chest, as well as the removal of his nipples and pinky finger. Perhaps Shue had managed to escape, entered his vehicle, and while in a panicked state, caused the accident that killed him. The medical examiner's response was that Shue had made no attempt to contact anyone. If you were captured, tortured, and were fleeing, you would seek help. He also mentioned that, if you're going to torture somebody by mutilating them, are you going to give them an anesthetic to prevent them from feeling pain? That's the thing that doesn't make any sense. Tracy Shue hired well-known forensic pathologist Cyril Wecht, who found that the amount of lidocaine in Philip Shue's system was not high enough to numb the pain. He also noted that instruments used to inflict the injuries, like a knife, have never been recovered, and that Shue's fingerprints were not on the duct tape wrapped around his wrists and ankles. Nancy's lawyer strongly supported the theory that Philip Shue staged the event to appear as a kidnapping and either died accidentally or did intend to commit suicide. He was hell-bent on making it look like the ex-wife did something. If the death was considered a homicide, Nancy would be the prime suspect, but would Shue, someone with such a high reputation, really go to these extremes to frame his ex-wife? In 2008, a court ruled that Philip Shue's death was a homicide. Despite the decision, the Texas Attorney General ruled that the death certificate would not be changed from the original finding of suicide. The death of Colonel Philip Shue remains a mystery, with a number of possibilities as well as contradictions.